Is Intel really stretching the definition of what a NUC is at this point?
Beast Canyon.
The original source is Tom's Hardware here. And do you remember when Intel first announced the NUC original announcement? Let's go find that. What is that? Wow, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to find anything that old.
Did it look like an evil toaster back then? I don't think so.
Okay, next unit of computing. Nobody uses that terminology anymore, so maybe that'll
Nope.
bring up older articles.
That's a good call.
2012, here it is. Review, Intel's next unit of computing from the Tech Report. That's a NUC, okay? And the whole idea, the reason they called it the next unit of computing was that it was supposed to be super small, but still have desktop-like performance rather than being limited by the performance of, hey, look, it's Scott Wasson's hand, rather than being limited by the performance of then low-power CPUs like their Atom lineup. Okay, so that's a NUC, but is this really a NUC? That's a USB port for scale. This is what is this? The Beast Canyon? And it's like pretty much the same. Okay, hey, speaking of my fellow former members of the tech press, there's a Ryan Shrout holding a Beast Canyon NUC. So let's go back. This is a Scott Wasson holding a NUC. Okay. And this is a Ryan Shrout holding a new NUC. I don't know. I don't know if it's really a NUC anymore, but it definitely supports discrete graphics cards up to 12 inches long. It uses Intel's Compute Element platform, which we've actually reviewed a product that uses it already. I forget what exactly that one was called. It kind of doesn't matter because I can't imagine too many people bought them. The NUC 9 Extreme, that was the one. So it uses Intel's Compute Element platform, which takes the CPU, RAM, storage, all that stuff, and actually was storage on it? I don't think it was on it. But CPU RAM for sure, and kind of you plunk it in. It's got the cooler all built in as a single module, and you could it plugs into kind of like a PCI Express slot type thing. It's equipped with H-series Intel chips instead of U-series, which is neat. So the Phantom Canyon NUC, which was legitimately actually small, but had more limited performance. Limited performance, so it's H-series, so that's faster, I guess. Does anyone
volume
care?
is wild. There's some stats here, which is crazy. It has an 8-liter footprint, but there's a small form factor PC case. Is that Loke or Luke?
Oh yeah, the Loki, I think is how they pronounce it.
Ghost S1 is 8.2.
Yeah,
practically the same.
Yeah, that's a problem.
What are we doing?
Because the thing is, you can you can make the argument that, well, yeah, but the Loki Ghost is really expensive. That's true. But so is the Beast Canyon. So your defense of the Beast Canyon in that case would kind of fall apart a little bit. Now, I don't know if there are too many system integrators that are actually building pre-built systems in the Loki Ghost, and that's an advantage that the Beast Canyon will have. Is if you're an SI and you're looking to pump these things out, it is not that easy building a DIY computer in an 8-liter chassis. That's not something that's just for, even your average technician to do at scale and not make mistakes, right? Or not have to spend a lot of time like, shoot, now we've got a DOA piece of hardware. Now I have to spend an hour and a half taking this thing apart, another half an hour putting it back together. So from like a business standpoint, I can understand that offering pre-builts in a Loki Ghost S1 is not necessarily the best idea. But for the DIY community, it's a tough argument, but there are customers out there for it. I remember having this conversation with whoever the writer was for our most recent NUC review, where they basically went, okay, yeah, I wrote it in the context of, I thought the customer was like this person. I'm like, what do you mean you thought? Go find out who the customer is. If you don't actually know who the customer is, how can you possibly write the review tailored to the people who should actually care about it? And they're like, well, how do I do that? I'm like, well, you go and you look at the previous generation product and you read customer reviews. you find out what the people who actually bought this thing liked about it, disliked about it. Obviously, you have to filter it because there's going to be a lot of fake reviews in there. And then you address those concerns. If people are saying, hey, this runs way too hot, well, then we need to investigate that. We need to look at the new one. Does it run cooler? If they say the performance was really good, we need to investigate that too. Have they made compromises to the performance? And maybe sometimes we take that approach to a fault. Like with the 3080 Ti review, where we reviewed it in the context of, hey, you're shopping for a $1,000+ graphics card. Sorry, guys. But we've also gotten some super chats during the show that are like, you guys are bang on. I was shopping for a graphics card in that price point. I bought it. I'm thrilled. Like, okay. But then maybe we should, I don't know, like, well, sometimes I don't know what to do, you guys. Should we tailor our reviews to the largest audience possible? Should we tailor our reviews to the people who are legitimately looking to buy the thing? Should we tailor our reviews to just the tech interested, the enthusiasts that are our kin? I don't know, because you end up writing a surprisingly different video from all of those different perspectives, and we can't do all of them.